welcome to the 2022 Reigns Leadership Summit. And where we are so excited, we're grateful, is to be back together and everybody together. It's we had versions of this prior to COVID, and it was great. Katie Cooper, I was talking about when a group of us went up to Asheville and did this, and it was like 9 of us. So, seeing a room with almost 80-something people in here, it's pretty powerful. It's really exciting. So, just want to talk a little bit about who we are. I think that as we were looking for themes, we were looking for purposes to do this, right? Why do we want to get together? And I think, somebody mentioned Array by Reigns, and they're like, what in the hell is Array by Reigns? I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what all you do. And easy enough. We've got our theme for the week. So it is about understanding our verticals, understanding our silos, understanding understanding our silos, our verticals, and then what each and every one of our team members do, how we all contribute to get this machine to keep moving forward. So we'll start off with David Tartna, Managing Partners for Reigns. We're there working with each of you every day to grow the company and to find ways to innovate, find new businesses to enter, and then make sure that we're excelling in the businesses that we have. We're very grateful and thankful that we have a couple of our board members, partners, founding partners here. Chrissy Reigns in the back, if you haven't had a chance to meet Chrissy, and David Reigns up front. So please make sure you spend a couple minutes with them. It's very difficult to get them up in front of everybody, so but spend a couple minutes with them. They've amazing stories and how we have become who we are as a company. So it's also my mom and my uncle. So just as we're getting into things, make sure everybody knows. And then HS Russell's another one of our partners. HS lives out in Jackson Hole full time, has been an investor with us, now a partner. And really excited to have them. But that's our board right now. As we evolve, as we grow, that board will grow. And then also we will roll out an advisory board next year. We've already talked to some folks about joining our advisory board, but it'll be a mix of folks from all different types of backgrounds to help make sure that as a company we're growing in the right direction, we're doing the right things. So excited to hopefully announce that in January. Still got some work to do to get that advisory council put together, but really it's a great step forward as a company. So with that, we're going to move towards, just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So as we get to know, and later on this afternoon, David and I will be participating in a Q&A for each of you. We're going to ask for 5 volunteers to come up and participate in a little Q&A with us. Can I get 5 volunteers? Don't raise your hands too fast. I will start picking. Candace, contestant number 1. Larry, Christina, Michelle, come on. Angela, 5, come on up.
Oh, right now?
Right now. right now. We're going to play the Reigns version of Press Your Luck. They're right here. All right, can I get an official scorer? Anybody can score for me? Come on, Christy. All right, everybody will take a pad.
First task.
Take one and pass it down. So we're going to have a series of questions, some fun, all pretty interesting, and we're going to see who knows Reigns. So with this, we like to win, we like to compete. So the winner of this contest will get 2 free nights, complimentary at any Reigns property when they'd like to take it. So know what you're playing for. Yeah, don't let them cheat. I mean, you've got to watch Christina. She'll be looking over your shoulder, Angela, All right, so we're gonna start with a layup. Easy question.
Oh, I gotta go here.
How many hotels are currently in the Reigns portfolio?
Am I saying it or writing it down?
Write it down.
If you say it, then they'll all hear it.
Write it down. Don't let Angela peek over your shoulder. Yeah. All right, 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right, Candace. 28. That is not correct. Michelle. 22. That winner, 1 point. 24. What number did you write? All right. No, Michelle and Angela. All right, so we now that we understand the flow and the process and how things are going. So how many new 22 hotels? Got a couple more under construction, but these are active, open properties. So that's where the 24 came from. It was a little confusing.
Or the 28.
Yes, we'll be at 28 before we know it. All right, next question. Another, a little more difficult, but not too. How many rooms do those 22 hotels add up? Oh.
I can tell you the 5 Marriotts.
Yeah, I mean, Ron's daily report has this total.
Ron, you know the answer?
Hey, does this closest to the actual number win?
No.
That's it.
Actually, for this, no, for this one, closest to will get a point if no one gets it correct.
Price is right, whoever's closest.
Yeah, there we go. Well, this is a little more difficult question. All right, so I will ask the crowd. Anybody in the crowd know the answer?
Dan does now that you looked at my report.
Do we have any
Work
not?
smarter, not harder.
Exactly. All right. So the number, Candace, 1,100, no. 2,785, no. 1,900, no, but close, no. All right, so the number is 1,934.
Who's the closest?
1 point for Christina.
This is
2098.
2098, so my math was wrong. All right, 2098. Still, Christina's still the closest. All right, and then this one was verified with Mike yesterday. So our next question, how many associates do we have across the portfolio? Corporate office? When I joined the company, this number was 30. How about you, Big Dave? It's about 12?
When I started,
I mean, how many original employees do we have at Courtyard? 12, 15?
about 20 maybe,
Yeah.
called Bistro.
Yeah, I joined the company when Courtyard and Spring Hill, while Spring Hill was under construction. All right. 89. There's more than 89 people in this
I
room.
thought you said over 80, so that's why I did 89.
Well, this was all associates, property, 843, 1,300, 975, 1,105. So some of these were pre-COVID numbers, not where we're at now. We are at 680 associates across our portfolio.
Are we giving a point to the closest?
Yeah, there's a point to the closest, Michelle.
All she did was pick the Charleston area code.
So think about that. Think about that for a second, though. 680 people. They count on all of us right here in this room to do what we're supposed to do, and the goal is to take that 680 and double it, and then triple it. But let's make an impact in people's lives. I mean, that is. We'll talk about that later, but it's a big goal of everybody here. It's all of our mission. Okay, that's important. So, David, you want to throw in a fun question? Trivia?
Yeah, here. Well, we'll start with a softball fun one. So, Ron, I need you to cue. So this is an audio question.
Audio question.
It's such a layup. So you have to name these fun questions, not range questions, are hotel related in movies or songs or whatever. So you just need to name the artist, and the title of the song.
You're singing?
No, I mean,
Too early for Carrie Tony.
where's Derek? Do you want to sing? Where's Derek?
Eagles, Hotel California.
Oh my God.
You're not supposed to say it. You're supposed to write it down. You're supposed to write it down.
Christina gets a point taken away.
Yeah, that's what the pad. That's what the pad and the pen's for.
I got excited.
All right, so scratch that question. All right, so I'll do. Here's another layup. Here's another layup. Christina. Oh my. All right. So the Beverly Hotel Wilshire was made famous in what movie when a New York businessman picks up a lady of the night? You need to name the title of the movie. Of the movie.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Christina needs it repeated.
You really?
Please.
The Beverly Wilshire Hotel was made famous by what movie when a New York businessman picks up a lady of the night? Mike, is that all right for me to say that?
All right. We'll start down here. 1 point. Pretty Woman is the answer to the Richard Gere and Julia Roberts.
You did not know that?
Michelle, Candace?
Oh my God.
All right.
Did you?
The music, I got it.
That must be our age.
Michelle has got a dominating lead, 3 points.
I thought that was the biggest layup question.
All right, so this. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. All right. All right, this is another one. This question comes from Kristen Meyer, our VP of Investments. She tossed one in here. What is the total real estate value of all of our hotels?
Chris.
Total real estate value, I think. Yeah, what's the interest rate? Three seconds. We're going to start with Larry. $300 million. Christina? Priceless. Great for a laugh, but not a point. 115 million? Michelle? 50 million? Or 650 million? Candace? 275. So Larry is our winner. Larry is the closest. So anybody else want to toss out an idea?
Can I change this?
No. So total value of our real estate that we manage is $375 million. So that's total value of all of our hotels. So you want to lob one in? And we're going to build on each of these questions. I mean, Kristen's doing a breakout later today to hopefully, help understand how we get to building these hotels.
All right, I feel like this is going to be show my age again here. I can't believe Christina missed the last one, but so this is another famous movie, so we need the title of the movie.
Not say it, write it down.
Yeah, write it. Write it, please.
Don't yell it out.
What was the famous or infamous motel in the movie Psycho? Does everybody in the room know this except Christina?
I do not know this.
Shining or something like.
That's a different one, but
put it down anyway.
All right,
All right.
we're gonna start with Candace. 1
Yes.
point. Michelle, no points.
Wrong movie, but
Wrong movie. Angela? Bates. 1 point for Angela.
Anybody get it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Candace and Angela. Yeah.
How many more do you have?
I've got 5 more.
I got 4.
Okay, cool. As you can tell, David's much older than me. All his questions come from a bygone era. All right, our next question, this comes out of our investments silo, another one that Kristen lobbed in. As you know, we have investors into each of our properties, folks that have trusted us for a long time to manage their money, invest it wisely, and then we work to hopefully make them a return on their money. With that, how much money do we currently have under management of investor dollars? It is a percentage of the previous number.
What percentage?
It's not a math question.
How much cash have you raised? Oh, I thought he said percent.
Yeah. Out of the $375 million, a portion of that is leveraged with our lenders, and then another portion is actual equity dollars invested.
Oh, no. I got more than that. Okay. See, I keep going.
All right, 3 seconds.
yeah, I got percentage, but
I did percentage and scratched out.
Well, it's not a percentage. I'm saying to back into the number, it would be less than the previous number. So,
I got
all right, what is your number? 120 million. Okay. 100 million. 175. 10 million. And $100.
No, I'm sorry.
We're not that leveraged as a company, just, $100 million. So we have a tie with Candace and Larry. It is actually $90 million that we currently have under management. So it's exciting. It's good. All right, this one's just a little bit of a layup. How many hotels do we have in the portfolio that are truly third-party managed? As that platform continues to grow for us, how many do we currently have? With 22 total, it's less than 22. All right. Everybody ready? Candace? 12. No. 18, no. 6, 4. So we have a tie for the closest with Angela and Christina. We have, we have 6. Pensacola, yeah.
Follow Brittany
Yeah.
Hines on
Yep.
LinkedIn.
6.
You know that.
Yeah, exactly. I should know that. I have it written down in front of me, and I'm confused. So 1 point for Christina.
I like looking at Dan.
All right, so now I'm going to try to go for the younger population. This is I think this is a layup too, but y'all could surprise me.
I always do.
In the movie The Hangover, the Wolf Pack wake up from a crazy night out in what Las Vegas hotel? Hint, Mike O.
All right.
Can we phone a friend?
Nope. This is the easiest question of the whole bunch.
You got Bates Motel.
I know. Because that's my generation. I know I look younger than I am.
No, don't let it, no.
No help from the audience.
No help from the audience. Candace?
All right.
Ocean. Caesar's Palace is the correct answer. So Christina, Larry, and Michelle.
And does anybody, does everyone know the hint of Mike O? He came from Caesars, working in Caesars, to us. So,
It was a slightly larger operation than what we currently have.
yes,
But
a lot more employees there.
Mike, how many associates did you manage at one point? 78,000.
How many investors?
That's our goal, 78,000.
So Michelle's in the lead.
Michelle is in the lead. What's our points breakdown?
We're 4. Michelle is in the lead with 4.
Everybody.
Larry has 3, Angela 3, Christina 3, and Candace 2.
It's a tight race. All right, here's one. What is our oldest property currently in the portfolio?
Where?
Our oldest. Yeah, which property?
Oldest owned or oldest like physically?
No, actually, that's good. I'll clarify. Oldest owned. Oldest owned. Courtyard Florence is correct.
I got Florence.
Got Florence. That's Courtyard Florence. So, yeah. All right. Yep, that's it. All right. What is our largest hotel per key count?
Are you talking about key wise, or are you talking about square footage?
That would be key count. Keyword key count. All right, Candace?
Can you start over there?
I can. Angela?
I'm still writing.
Fairfield, Florence. Nope.
I said Florida.
Larry's got it right. Christina's got it right. Michelle? Nope. Pensacola? Nope. Yeah, Larry and Christina. David, how many questions do you have?
I have 2. Well, I have 3, but
All right, let's.
Christina's in the lead now.
Yeah.
I think I am. I think I'm adding the hard one. So, but this is, I think this, well, again, this is a newer generation. Who in here watches or watched the series Ozark?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Everybody on? Sorry. I still have to ask the question. I thought everybody watched Ozark. Okay. All right. In the hit show Ozark, Ruthie, my favorite character, eventually buys and runs what motel?
Oh, this is a critical point in the game.
Well, actually, too, and it's the same motel that in the first series, when the kids are at the swimming pool and that motel, right?
All right, 5 seconds.
We don't get points for
Oh my God, nobody's gonna get this. If nobody gets this, we need to do a prize for somebody in the room that gets this.
I think we can do that.
Okay, time's up.
Does anybody have it?
Anybody?
Hotel Florence. No, but I'm happy for them to come shoot there. Yeah, me too. I'd love for them to come stay with us.
Nobody?
Does anybody in the room know
You
it?
can't Google it either on your phone. I know you know.
Yeah, she knows.
The Lazy O.
Well, can I get credit for mom?
No, that doesn't count.
You have a letter.
All right, so do one more question, and then
right.
we'll do a tiebreaker if needed. All right, so this is our final question unless a tiebreaker is needed.
Okay, well, I got to ask for Ron's participation on this one then.
Oh, is this one? So you're not
Yeah.
gonna go for the really hard?
No, let's do this one. So this is another audio daily double. Not really double. So So Ron's going to sing the first few lines, and you have to name the song, the title of the song, and the artist.
Not out loud.
No.
Not out loud.
Please write it. Okay. Cue Ron.
Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell.
All right, that's all you get. Title of song and artist.
Do we get a
Is the artist, I mean, we all know who the artist is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
do we get a half point?
He does wonderful.
Ready?
All right.
Heartbreak Hotel, Elvis.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Fine. Yes.
Elvis, Heartbreak Hotel. Christina? Christina? No. No. Oh my God. Yes, Angela. Oh my God. Is there a tie?
We have a tie.
Three-way tie. So we have
Angela,
two.
Christina, Michelle, all for 5.
All right, the rest of you can sit down. Do you have a tiebreaker question?
I don't. I kind of want you to ask that hard one.
Okay. I have two. Should I do an audio or another movie trivia one?
I think you should do audio.
Do you have the audio? Oh no, because nobody's gonna get that one. That was gonna be tough.
Try me.
All right, we'll try it. Do you have the other song?
The
Yes.
hard one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it queued.
All right, so we're gonna cue this song, and all you have to do is name the artist of the song.
Trust us, it is related.
Yeah, just the artist.
I don't know this. I need words.
You don't know this song?
I need words.
I was the same one. Now we know.
Okay, this is from the 80s.
Yes, it is from the 80s.
I don't remember her name, but actually.
Yes, David, we are old.
I
You
know,
and
I
are
know.
old.
I'm getting ready to start singing. It's a great song.
We gotta hear the audio.
Just the name of the artist.
All right, stop it. It is a big hint. I mean, we've been hotel crazy on this one. The name of the band. No? Anybody in the room?
Yes,
Tommy Lover.
I grew up with this song.
What is the artist?
And the video.
The artist.
Motel.
The Motels. Yes, the Motels. Okay, so clearly that doesn't break the tie. All right, this one should. In the movie The Shining, the name of the famous hotel. No, okay. Anyone?
It's not a time. It's not a time contest.
I know.
Not who gets it first.
All right, I think, Christina has it. The Overlook.
Anyone else? Christine.
God, that was an adventure, I think.
That was an adventure.
It always is with me.
Wow.
What do I get?
2 free nights at any Raines property.
Hers.
Maybe Wayne's. Nowhere. Yeah, the mountains are gorgeous.
Right. I'll come visit.
All right, how do we move on from there? Wow, that was quite interesting. Okay, so hopefully we got a little bit of facts about us as a company, got some hotel facts, and a little bit of fun in between. But thank you to our volunteers for jumping in, coming up front, and showing us what you don't know.
We can't be good at everything.
That's right. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to be perfect.
Coming for you next time.
So, again, as we move on, the next phase of what I want to discuss is a little bit about our history. It's an interesting time in our company because we've been established for a long time. We've been around my great-grandmother, Gigi, my grandfather, Rock, my father, Mark, David, my mom. All of this has been an evolution of the company as we've continued to grow And we've found ways to grow in new and exciting places to venture, for whether it was from truck stops, convenience stores, into motels in the late 80s, 90s. And then, really, I remember the pinnacle being getting a Marriott franchise, Courtyard Marriott in Florence. My dad, who not with us, built an amazing foundation. I mean, what he and David were able to put together to start us down this path into hospitality, it's been absolutely amazing. So, we had another company that's a competitor of ours now that they helped start. So we moved from there back to Raines Development Group. And we got our first Courtyard. Now, I think back, like you look at what we did previously to that, other branding, other things, but, as it wraps back to who we are, my father was so excited about getting a Courtyard Marriott because at that time, it was the pinnacle of quality and service. And what the Marriott family represented, you look back and you're like, everything we wanted to do is to be like them. And you realize that it was just finally getting a company that mirrored our goals. And so you look back, that's really, really awesome. And it allows us to, again, set the tone and set the standard of quality and service and experience. And that's where this today is a shift back to that, where we've had to cut some corners, where we've had to learn how to survive the last couple of years coming out of COVID. As a company, we're moving past that. We're moving back to quality, service, and experience for our guests and for our associates. Because, we can't say it enough to each and every one of you in the room. We can't say thank you enough because you're the reason we're all here. And those associates that have worked so hard at the property, we can't thank them enough because what we've asked, what has been given is more than any of us ever signed up for, as being in hospitality. I think a lot of us are in hospitality because it's fun, it's addictive, it's such a great group of people. I mean, last night, being able to meet so many new folks, but also just to run through memories with people of we did this 10 years ago, or we another version of this. It's why we're all drawn together, and it's, once you get into hospitality, it's kind of hard to get out. So for any new folks in here, just letting you know you're on a slippery slope. But no, I mean, I think that's it. As a company, we've continued to evolve. I mean, we now have a golf vertical. We have Array by Raines, which is our brokerage, retail, alternate assets division. Our development division is solidified and just they're rocking along. So I think that we are going to continue to look for ways to evolve as a company. So you can trust us in the projects we're looking for. We're understanding what our guests needs, what our guests are looking for. As you can see, we're doing more on the independent, soft-branded side. We're picking the right brands. I think that's one of the other pieces of this, and I'll touch on that a little bit in our headwinds section, so we get to talk about some stuff that's not fun too. But the history of this company is really powerful, and we've got people with great stories, and that's where I encourage, again, if you get 5 minutes, you get 2 minutes, talk to my mom, talk to David, talk to Marcy, talk to Ron. I mean, the foundation, the standards that my father set are, it's what drives me to do better every day. And I wish he was here with us. But, as we've come together with David and I, David Tart, it's been really cool to come together to become a bigger, better company. And we're investing in our people. We're investing in our technology. Dan put it best one day. Dan said, I feel like I'm working for the most well-established startup. And in many ways, we are a startup again. I mean, we're investing in a way that we're a new company. And we see that. I mean, look at our team growth. Look at our property level growth. Look at our commitment to growth and investments. We're going to continue to be doing that. So as long as we've been doing this, it's even like this event, right? I mean, this is uncharted territory for us. I mean, the number of hotels, the number of associates in here, and that's where this is going to continue to evolve. I mean, our vision for this event is different locations, more people, more activities, and this will also become our work-focused gathering. So 2 times a year, we want to get this team together. And we're going to put this team together, for the Leadership Summit. That will be more education, more leadership focused with speakers and presentations and all of those things. And then the fun thing we're going to start next year is summer camp at Waynesville. So, we're going to have one that's very work focused and one that's fun focused. So we're going to hike and fly fish and golf and mountain bike and just sit outside by the mountains and relax a little bit. So know that that is coming as well. As much as we're going to amp this up and continue to make it special, we're also going to have summer camp coming too. So get your s'more kits ready. Last night was nothing compared to what's coming. But I mean, again, this is about coming together to learn from each other, to meet your fellow associates, because we're all dealing with the same problems, just some of us are in different locations. And then it is to create opportunities. It is to create upward mobility. It is to create, whether you're just with us for a short time or a long time, I mean, whether it's just gaining a new skill set to go do something different, we want to be part of your career path. We hope you stay with us forever. And we also understand that we can create a learning opportunity for everybody in this room. So, meet, network, just hear stories. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, there's some really great stories in this room. So, again, it's just, we're going back to a focus on quality and service and experience. And with that, we've got, earlier this year, we were very, very fortunate to recognize some really special folks that won a series of awards for us. And I'm going to play a video. Oh, actually, hang on. So this one came out of the memory books. So that's my great-grandmother, Gigi, my grandfather, Rock. Y'all may know this guy. He's in the room somewhere. Was that high school graduation?
It is.
Wow. That's my dad. That's Mark. And then racing. Racing's been a big part of our family for a long time. So, yeah, truck stop and Rock's race car, 34 Ford. So here's a little bit about where we are. Pretty cool that it started with that courtyard in Florence right there, and then representing 4 states and 22 hotels, a whole slew of brands. Really, really neat to see. So with that, we're going to watch a little video. Some of you may have already seen this. tell you what, I get excited every time I watch that. And, you know, all of that is possible from the man in the back right there. If you don't mind giving him a round of applause, James McCoy. You know, you run into people and you just know they're the right fit. You don't really know where they're going to fit, but you know they're the right fit. And that's how it was with James. And, man, he's just jumped right in and made things really special. He's put us in a new place from a technology and videography and photography. And, you know, I mean, thank God we don't have to spend any more money renting equipment for Kristen to get headshots. I mean, the fact that we're able to do that in-house 6, 7, 8 times a year, I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And so with that, I want to recognize these award winners while we're all together because, you know, with what was going on earlier this year, it didn't allow us to get together. So as I call your name, if you'd please stand up, and we're going to give you another round of applause because you more than deserve it. So Rebecca, our Corporate Services Lodging Employee of the Year. Kelly, our GM of the Year. She lives right back here. Oh, please stay standing. Allison, where is Allison? The Director of Sales of the Year. Our Hotel of the Year, the Foundry. If that team will stand up, we've got Larry and Derek here from that team. And then our Mark Raines Award winner. And this one, obviously, because it builds on the foundation of service, quality, and experience, because my dad loved this business, right? Nobody better example of that than Chris Martin. So, you know, again, thank you all. We have a set of criteria to win these awards. And if you need those, Mike's got them. And, you know, we encourage everybody to do that because those rewards, everything that's part of it is only going to continue to move forward. So thank you all. Very, very well deserved. All right. So we know we got a lot of good things going on. We also know we got some bad stuff working against us, right? There's nothing in here we can't overcome because we made it through COVID. We've made it through the economic financial crisis of 2008, 2011. We made it through 9/11 as a company, and we made it through stuff before my time. So with that, what's everybody in here think their biggest challenge is? Labor and staffing. That's it. So I don't have an answer for it. We're working on it, trying to figure it out. But, you know, that is one that we are going to have to continue to find ways. But we want to do it together. I mean, Mike's spending a lot of time on it, and we want to continue to get the right team members and get them to stay with us. So we know it's tough out there. We know everybody's pulling, again, more weight than they need to. But, you know, we want to continue to find ways to improve quality of life. I mean, it's important for everybody. And I don't know how to get there yet. I'm still working on work-life balance, quality of life, all that too. So don't have that figured out, but it is something that's important to find the right folks and to get back in a consistent staffing model, which, you know, some of what's going on is going to put people back to the workforce. One of the other big things we're dealing with, inflation. I mean, the Fed is combating it. Every time those interest rates goes up, that makes our life that much more difficult. So we're fortunate in our leverage positions at our properties. We're fortunate we have fixed rate financing. So, you know, these folks that you hear are out there on these adjustable rate mortgages and those types of things, it's tough out there. And, you know, with that, it will create opportunity for us to grow. So, you know, we're spending a lot of time focusing on acquisitions now because another headwind we have is construction costs. I mean, it has continued to be at an all-time high. And as the development team, as, you know, our construction design team has continued to look at projects, a lot just do not pencil at this time. So as we watch that, as we continue to hopefully see we know that there's a lot of projects out there getting shelved. We know things are kind of put to the sidelines. We're getting calls on those opportunities. We're going to chase those because we're going to be able to find a way to put those together where other people have stumbled. So as much as it's been prohibitive of our growth here the last 2 years, it's going to create some opportunities. One big one, our government. We don't have any friends in Washington right now. And mid-year elections are always really tough historically, especially mid-year elections that honestly can swing either way. And we're heading into that. We've never had more divisive government that from a business standpoint, and this is not getting political on anybody, but we have to understand elections have consequences. And we have to understand that those clowns in Washington, all of them, they don't have a freaking clue what they're doing, and they don't like our business. So think about that when you study, when you research who you're voting for. Yes, there's a lot of reasons to vote for somebody, but see if they're a friend of our industry. AHLA, we've gotten more involved in as a company. We've got folks attending their conferences. We are supporting AHLA. We're supporting South Carolina Hotel Lodging Association. We're supporting their PAC. So we are donating to the South Carolina PAC for hospitality. It's not a right or left thing. It's who's supporting our industry. So that's how I start things. Who's friends of hospitality. But we have to pay attention to it. With a lot of unknowns on the tax structuring, we're going to continue to be focused on how we avoid our friends in Washington. So with that, the other one that is interesting, I think that as I touched on, when back in the day, that Courtyard or that Hampton Inn, it was just, if you could get that franchise, you were golden, right? You just get it and you go. It did what it was supposed to do. One of the things we're fighting, the brands, the market saturation, the segmentation only really lives with the brand folks. They want to talk about all these guests and how, there's a specific guest for each of these properties. But what it means we have to go fight. We have to go win those guests. We can't sit back and wait for reservation contributions. We can't just sit there and go, well, Hilton's big or Marriott's big. They're going to send us our guests. No, it's how you own your property. You differentiate your property, and then you own your guests. Don't let them be Hilton guests. Don't let them be Marriott guests. Let them be Raines guests. Let them be your property. And I think that's a challenge for all of us because we're not used to that, right? I mean, we're used to just having 2 Hilton properties in a market or 3. Well, Marriott's got 34 brands now. They're going to introduce 3 more in the next 6 months. Hilton's pushing over 20. Hyatt's launching 2 more that I know of. Probably tell us another one here shortly. So, that's going to get, that water's going to get real muddy quick. So, pay attention to it and don't rely on them. Figure out how you and your team at your property levels can own your guests, can create that experience that drives them back to your properties, and then also how we create our Raines guest. I think that's really important for us and a focus for what we want to do. So with that, I mean, the other one that we're spending a lot more time on, and first it's going to start with an apology for me, but it's intercompany communication. I think it is something that we need to improve on. I think it's something we're thinking about. We know it's there, but we haven't found our solutions. And that's something I want to talk to everybody in the room about here. How do we best communicate as a company? How do we know what's going on? And where the apology comes from is, we sold Courtyard Casey, during the life cycle of things. And David's going to talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. We sold Courtyard Casey, and not everybody found out about it until it hit the newspapers. It hit the trade magazines, and we should have been more communicative right out the gate of what's going on. A lot of this stuff, we have non-disclosure agreements and everything, and you move down acquisitions or dispositions, and they may or may not happen. So we don't like to scare the staff. We don't like to scare the team. But that was one that we did sell. We retained the management contract, but we did sell to a group out of Charlotte, really good group of guys, and but you should have heard that from us first. You should never read that in the newspaper. So with that, we are making that commitment to have better communication internally. So when we can let people know, we want to make sure y'all are the first to know when things change like that. And that was a very opportunistic disposition. It wasn't something we were out chasing to sell a hotel. They came to us with what was a really good offer, and it was a nice transaction. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that money and we're going to go deploy it and go build another hotel or buy 2 hotels. So that is the thing. I mean, even though a single asset may move in or out of our portfolio, know that it is only done because it allows us to grow in a better manner. So that was one that was, again, very opportunistic. Two more pieces. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tart. We are community focused, and that is communities that we live in, that's communities we operate businesses in, but it's also a greater community. So, one of the things we're excited about, Miko has helped set up, we have 2 resource groups that we're launching this year. And what's even more fun about these were ideas from associates that came to us and they said, how do we do this? And Mike, through his experience, was able to help us put these groups together, and they're just getting started, but it's not just going to be these 2 groups. If you have another idea for a resource group, we want to be a resource. We want to help you grow, not just in hospitality, but any other areas of interest. So, whether that's an investment resource group, it's another community, any of those things, help us, come to Mike, come to me, come to David, help us figure that out. So, the first one is Out with Reins, our LGBTQ group, being headed up by Christopher Martin. So that is really exciting for us. It's a resource group that we'll have a lot more information about as it's coming together. I know we're working on some logos and some different things that we will communicate as they get put together. But that was the first one to come to us. And second one is a women's group. Brittany Jones has come forward to lead that group, associate level. I mean, we have a lot of powerful women in our organization, and we're proud of that. And, hospitality has continued to move forward to where, we want to grow the women in our organization, and we can do that. It's a great opportunity to learn from the folks that have been here for a long time to, brand new women in our industry. So that resource group will be launching here shortly. I think they're a little bit behind logos and some of the things that Chris has been doing, but I think they're going to be eager to catch up. But, again, it's great to be associate-led, but resource-driven by Reins. And we're going to support that with, whether it's meetings, whether it's outings, any of those things within this organization, we want to do more of that. So please come forward, please help us be a part of these groups, and let's just build the Reins community to be something special and something other than just work, right? I mean, we spend a lot of time together. I spend more time together than I'd get with my family at times. So, it's important to be together and to learn, not just from a business standpoint, but we're all walking a different path in life, and it's cool to see what people are doing. So both of those are launched. The other 2 that, one that, I think she's raised more money for it than anybody's Kristen. Our employee heart fund that we have started. We are, Mike, paperwork update, our treasury update first. Almost $22,000 is in the account. We have started to establish the board for that. We have our first couple associates that have volunteered to be a part of that board. And what that will do is when our associates fall on hard times, they have issues, they're going to be able to come to this board in a very private manner, and to be able to get financial help. And that,
field days, correct?
yes. So field day.
A lot of money in a short amount of time.
Field Day was the first fundraiser we did, and it was awesome how many people wanted to dunk Marcy and Dan. I think that number might continue to go up. So, but to have $22,000 in there, we're going to get that in an interest-bearing account. So, it'll be growing, but we want to be there we want to be there to help our associates. I mean, whether that's funeral expenses, whether that's travel to see a sick family member, whether that is a sick family member, or maybe it's a sick associate themselves, they'll be able to come in and draw it. It'll either be gifts from the foundation, or it could be seen as micro loans, no interest loans to help get something going on that side of the table. But, again, we want to see that number grow. We're going to have several fundraisers through the course of the year, not just with our group, but also our investor group. So hoping to see that. And then in regards to Waynesville, we will be launching a Waynesville Inn and Golf Club Foundation as well that will help grow the game of golf, because we think the game of golf's great, when it brings to the community and what we're able to do. That's another one that we're excited to get officially launched as a 501c3, correct, Mike? And so both of those will be out there, and you'll see events tying back to both of those. But again, we all work together. One of the coolest things is I work best in a collaborative manner. So know that. So if you have ideas, you have suggestions, just come to us. Talk to us. There's always a better way of doing things. I think that's, again, we're all in uncharted territory as a company, and it's exciting to be moving forward, but we got to do it together. So I'm not that smart. I'm surround myself with smart people. So with that, as Reigns has grown, as we evolved out of COVID, one of the things that, I had a partner, David Tart, we were JV partners prior, and coming together under the Reigns umbrella has allowed us to, augment the development team, design, construction, procurement. I mean, our services are higher, more efficient than they've ever been. And, it's also great, when you get to work with the best in the business. I think David's the best developer I've ever worked with. He's got one of just amazing eye to detail and digging into the weeds, where I'm a little bit more of a big picture guy at times. But with that, David's going to come talk a little bit about how he got in the business, what he works on day to day. I think that a lot of folks know me, may not know David as well. So excited to have him come and chat with you a little bit. But thank you for putting up with me for a little bit, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Gray. Bear with me just a sec here. Okay, so can we give it up for Ron again for last night? I think I'm finished, and I after that and the amazing Elvis through awards, I'm oftentimes I look at Gray and I go, what would we do without Ron? I know what we do. We'd spend money and hire somebody that's not even as good as Ron. So get to know Reigns, and if we want to get to know each other better, I think what better way than karaoke? I had no idea Larry and Derek were such Fuji. And Ted, that was awesome with Salt and Pepper. So, no, that was a lot of fun. I think so some of this is gonna be a little repetitive with Gray. But the more I think about it and listen and hear is, I'm still meeting folks in the room for the first time. But if we walk away from this first, call it, really our inaugural leadership summit, you should walk away here if somebody were to come up to you and say, oh, you work for Reigns? What does Reigns do? If you think about that for a minute, because a lot of times I think people say, oh, we run hotels. We're a hotel management company. Well, we're absolutely a lot more than that. And as Gray said, uncharted territory and new ground, that's going to continue. It's a part of growth. I'm going to expand on that a little bit. I'm going to talk from a slideshow because that's how my brain works. And I've got some things down that I want to go through with you, but I'll also say, as we get through this, some of this is sort of segued into what the next session is about, where it gets more into the weeds with our team, our core team, what we do every day, how we're trying to grow the business, and then further to that, we've got Mark Rhodes coming in, who's going to speak to us, who works for Chick-fil-A, and it gets back to the core of hospitality business, which I believe is service. And I think that'll be a good takeaway as well. But I mean, I got into the business. I always loved listening to Gray or talking to Chrissy or David about their family and how they got into the business. That's not how I got into the business. Just a little bit about me. I was a science major in college, and it's funny talking to my kids right now. I have a daughter. I have two girls. I have a 18-year-old daughter, Riley, who's in college down at Flagler College in St. Augustine, and I have a 13-year-old girl, Chloe. And been married for 22 years, my beautiful wife, Courtney. But having a daughter go to college right now, you're having these discussions with your children about, Dad, what should I study? And how did you get your career in hospitality? And my answers are like, wow, I was a biology major. And yeah, so I'm not saying I wasted 4 years, but I'm not using my degree, but choose what you want to do. It's just a funny way of, delivering a message to your children when I say, look, I mean, the key there is, find what you love. And that doesn't mean it happens, right when you go to college. And I sort of fumbled my way into hospitality because I was trying to help my grandfather. We had a lot of farmland in North Carolina, like over the last 100 years. Just so happened, Interstate 95 gets built and dissects my grandfather's farmland. And my dad and I, when I got out of college, had to help my grandfather sort out some projects and deals and ground leases and things that some were going well and some weren't going that well at all. And I ended up with about a 3-acre piece of property where I had a friend in Charleston who was involved in the hospitality business, and I called him up and I said, hey, I know nothing about hotels, but I think I'm getting ready to buy a franchise. If I can get it, why don't you come tell me if this makes sense? And he did. I don't know if I've told Gray this, but there was a time in that process when my wife was looking at me and saying, you've lost your mind. What are you doing? You're going to buy a franchise? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. And somebody in Dunn, this is Dunn, North Carolina, for those of y'all in Florence, you probably know where Dunn is, said, there's this organization down the road, the Rains, and they're in the hotels. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I know what I'm doing. That was 20 years ago, so that was before Gray and I met. But it was total baptism by fire, and I absolutely fell in love with the business. So my background was more development, sort of, roll your sleeves up. I was trying to figure out how to build a hotel. But my experience was then simply hiring a management company to run the hotel. And I did that. And that particular Hampton Inn is still there in Dunn. There's a picture, we'll get to that. It did really well. I ended up, like Gray described that courtyard, not intentionally, but the hotel sort of ramped up. I mean, it was Interstate 95. We all know how that generates business. And within a year, I got approached by a REIT to buy the hotel. And the only real two partners in the hotel were myself and my father and a couple other guys, but my dad and I were the managing partners, and it was a little sentimental. I mean, one thing that was a aha moment too is it was a Hampton Inn, totally prototypical. I was so proud of it, and I put a curio cabinet in the lobby that celebrated my grandfather because it was his land and he had passed away, and it was basically this homage to his farming and all of this. And I remember watching people come into this Hampton Inn that was completely prototypical, but the one thing they would do, they would always stop by this curio cabinet and they would read. And and I was like, wow, that's cool. So you know, that sort of fast forwards to what we know now as the experiential traveler. I don't care if you're staying in a Hampton Inn or you're staying at the Foundry or Hotel Florence. It's when they walk in, it's the experience they get, right? And we have to come back to that. That was that simple aha moment for me where I was like, I really like this business. I like to get creative with it. I like to break the rules. I have a habit of pissing off the brands because I'll take their prototypes when they deliver it to us and we're going to develop it, and I start changing everything because I think I know better than they do. And I'm not saying I do, but I know our team, and I go and sit down with operations and we, you know, look at a Hyatt place where they've got the bar next to the lobby, and I go, does that really work? Are we selling? I mean, we're spending money to build a bar here. Are we selling more booze? Or can we, like the Hyatt place at Town Center, maybe separate and do something special? Don't worry, I'll fight the brand. I'll see if we can get that through. Can we put LVT in the guest rooms, which we did there? We were the first Hyatt place in all of the system to have LVT in the guest rooms. And, you know, Jennifer, you probably remember that. And then I had to build a model room so Hyatt could approve it. And next thing, and I'm not taking credit for this, but I'm not kidding, 2 months later, Hyatt blitz emailed all the franchisees and said, we're putting LVT in the guest rooms. And so I knew that standard was coming, but this is why I love the business so much. So I don't know, that was a tangent, but getting back to getting to know Raines, you know, we're much more than just a hotel. And so as I was getting into the business and just hiring management companies, I wanted more of that. And fast forward to today is when Gray and I really came together with expanding the organization. And so I'm going to get into, I don't know, I draw on analogies. So another trivia, since we got off of trivia. So this is Adolf Adi Dassler. Tommy Lober, you can't answer this, but does anybody know who this is? Tommy, you do, right? No, I don't. Oh, okay. For those of you that don't know, another history lesson, Tommy Lober, All-American soccer player in college. Really great soccer player. Gamecocks, right. And I went to South Carolina too. So Adi Dassler, Adidas, Adidas. He was the founder of Adidas, okay? And so what's relevant if I'm explaining now the way to think about Raines and our organization and what we do, Adidas starts as, he was a cobbler, right? He was a shoemaker. Guy makes shoes, makes soccer shoes. We all know Adidas today as a global brand. Adidas has silos of business, right? I mean, name it. They're in soccer, they're in tennis, they're in golf in a big way, they're in clothing, they're in all of these silos of business. And of course, over time, they've, you know, rebranded, you know, and sort of they go through different resets of their logos and all this sort of stuff. So the analogy I'm drawing here is, you know, when Gray and I were working on the sort of next phase of how we're resetting our business, this is more like consumer facing or forward facing. It's the fun, creative part of what we do. So, and Craig Evans will be here if he's not here already for some of the breakout sessions, and you'll hear that side of it too. It is the fun part. Okay, well, our logo, we're gonna go from Raines Hospitality to Raines, the Raines Company. We're gonna, we're going to have our silos of business and what we do that we refer to as the entire hotel life cycle. I mean, a hotel has a life cycle, right? Somebody finds the land, they conceptually come up with it, they brand it or they don't, they build it, they open it, they operate it, and then it either transacts or it gets rebranded. It sort of goes through this life cycle, right? We are an organization now that where we can honestly look at anybody we're either doing business with or you know, our clientele, and we do it all. And we can take a project from A to Z, and we need to understand that, because in my competitive world, if I'm sitting at the table with somebody that we want to do business with, and I'm talking about what we do as an organization versus what just a third-party management company does as an organization, we have a leg up. We absolutely have a leg up. And we were just at a meeting recently with some guys that want to develop a hotel, and the other two folks that they met with are strictly third-party managers. And they approach that a certain way, whereas Gray and I can sit in there and go, we've done this, and if we're just third-party managing your hotel, we're gonna manage your hotel as if it's ours and it's our money, and we built this hotel because we've done that. And we can make certain decisions that I think are more valuable and benefit you versus the company that just says, I'm a service company and I'm just working on a fee and I'm gonna manage this hotel for you. So we get into this creative process. You've all seen probably the website over time and how it's gotten to be where it is. It also allows us to do all of the things that are important to our team. I mean, our team, our people, our culture, service, that's the core and foundation of our business. So we come back to core missions, core visions, which you'll see on the website, who we are, our company culture, and then that flows into our business goals and our growth strategies. So then we get to sit down and go, all right, how are we gonna grow? I mean, Gray talks about the headwinds in the business. I don't care if it's geopolitical or election cycle, you name it. When I did that Hampton Inn and Dunn, I did it and I built it and it was successful and this company came to buy it and I was like, I know what I'm like an expert. Like, I can do this. I love it and I'm gonna go do it again. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do 3 of them because this one was successful and I'm gonna conquer the world. Like, this is gonna be great. Then 2008 hit and I had 3 deals. So for anybody remember 2008? Okay. I had 3 deals where I had taken any amount of financial success in this Dunn Hampton and rolled them into these 3 deals. And I mean, the world stopped. And you talk about sleepless nights. I had a deal in Athens, Georgia. I had a deal in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. And I had a deal in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And Athens and Raleigh went away real quickly. And I don't care how good the project was from a development standpoint, you weren't getting a bank loan. It was, I bet I had 100 no's trying to, and so I sort of focused all my efforts on a little Hampton Inn in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Enter H.S. Russell, who Gray brought up on earlier, who is one of our partners. And that was our introduction to Mr. Russell, who was an investor, also helped me get a loan, which was impossible at the time. And we built that hotel and we opened it and it was very successful. But the point in that is, whatever that next thing is, it's gonna be there. So the diversity of how we approach business now, through development, through acquisition, through rebranding, through management, both third party and managing our own properties, makes our organization grow and helps us weather whatever the next thing is, right? So after the Great Recession, I can consciously remember sitting, and again, thinking I'm very smart when I'm not, and going, we have to have plan Bs for the next Great Recession. Guess what we never thought of? A pandemic. I mean, really? I remember when somebody said, hey, there's this pandemic and we need to pay attention, and I'm like, you kidding me? We'll be fine. I mean, and now we sit here, so we've come out of it. And we're here in this first leadership summit, and I do want to thank everybody for being here, because we put, and I'll be honest with you, we started talking about having this, and in my mind I was saying, should we really do this? We're just coming off the pandemic. Our people are overloaded with work. We're asking y'all to do things that you wouldn't normally do. We're ramping back up. Of course, tourism came back in a big way. So I'm glad we're doing this, and we're only going to get better with this and these type of events as we go forward. Again, I'm getting off on a tangent, but these things are critical, and so I appreciate everybody being here, because there will be something again. Who knows what? I don't know what it. I mean, right now we're going to deal with inflation for sure, and how does that affect how we go forward? So anyway, this is, I think, important to look at. We have our management arm, we have our development arm, we have our investment arm, and then we have Woven, which is a branch of our development. But back to the Adidas analogy and the silos of business and how they grow and how they diversify, this is how we're doing it. So when somebody says, oh, you work for Raines, what do you guys do? We develop hotels, we own hotels, we manage hotels, We structure the investment. And not only do we manage core branded that we've been doing for years and years, we also have a division now that is reacting to the traveler, the experiential traveler, for boutique properties and independent properties and soft branded properties, because that takes a specialized approach. And oh, by the way, now, and I'll invite anybody, when you come to Charleston, come see the new office building. We built this office, we own that office building, we have the offices in Florence. But I will say, developing an office building is 10 times easier than developing a hotel. Brandon was a huge part of that, and he heard me say that over and over. I mean, provided the office leases up. But I mean, the complexities of developing a hotel, and I think there's probably only one other thing that might be harder than developing a hotel. Maybe it's a hospital. Not that I ever want to do that, because I won't, but I can't think of the complexities that go into what we do every day and managing what we and what y'all have to deliver operationally to building out common area space and the rooms and all of that. Office buildings are easy. But that's just another part. And then Gray mentioned the golf. So what I want to do is take a few minutes here now, because what I'm talking about with those silos of business and what our organization does will be expanded upon in the next session, which, oh gosh, I'm already going over. It's okay. Okay, so it'll be expanded upon in the next session, and then, as Gray has encouraged all of you, ask us questions, talk, approach, find out what we do, get into the weeds with us. If you care to know that, find out what we do. Coming out of this, we need your feedback on everything. I was talking to Jackie and Lisa yesterday about the feedback of doing these things, which are all work related, but also things that we want to do that bring the families into the mix. I mean, as we look at things we want to do annually, whether it's called a leadership summit like this, Gray mentioned, I think you mentioned the Waynesville thing that we can consider next year as more of like a summer camp. Huh? Yeah, it's going to happen. It's like a summer camp theme or whatever, but while my last name is not Rains, I always love listening to the family because I feel a part of the family, and you should too. And so we're looking at things to do that and having events while also working into everybody's busy work schedule, which that's the hardest part of it. Okay, but so quick development update. Perspective. I'll go. Just perspective. That I was so proud of this room in 2003. I mean, look at that. It's terrible. But I remember when I worked with the designer, and I was like, we have nailed it. Like, that is amazing. It's funny when you dig old pictures up. But in 2003, the land for that hotel cost me $350,000. The hard construction costs, which when I say hard costs, that is simply hiring the general contractor to build the building, was about $40,000 to $50,000 per room to build, and the FF&E was 12 to 14. Today, my best Apple, and projects can, the range is huge, whether, because we have historic projects and things that are much more expensive than your prototypical, but apples to apples, and this isn't exactly apples to apples, we're doing a true in North Augusta right now. You can see the land was triple, the hard construction costs more than double, and then the FF&E, that doesn't seem like a big jump, but FF&E is a small part of the budget, and FF&E today is as hard as it's ever been, supply chain issues and all that kind of stuff. But, and arguably, you can probably add to this if this happened to be a today Hampton Inn and not a true. But this is the challenges that we're faced with, because every time this number keeps going up, we have to underwrite that and go, is our rate going to support that? Is our occupancy going to support that in this market? The development cycle ebbs and flows. It simply ebbs and flows with the driving, construction cost numbers, also the cost of money right now, which is a big problem. I mean, the Fed's going to keep hiking rates. Well, that gets passed on to the banks, gets passed on to us, and then it makes the underwriting of all our projects a lot harder. Okay, so I'm going to touch on 3 projects. We have 3 development projects right now, various stages. We haven't started this yet. I mean, Kristen will tell you we've started it, but it's all of the underwriting and the financing and all the economic side of this hotel. We've not started any construction yet, other than some remediation. But this is a historic adaptive reuse project in Wilson, North Carolina. It's a 99-room courtyard. Downtown Wilson is an emerging area. If you're all familiar, I think it's east of Raleigh. It's about 30 miles from Raleigh. It's a beautiful building. I mean, you walk into the building and you go, oh, this can be really, really special. And I think, and yeah, we're going to brand it Courtyard because this market needs that type of product there in a quality way. But you can see these are just computer-generated renderings of what we're starting to look at with interior design. But a historic adaptive reuse project means it's on the National Historic Register. So the government provides tax credit incentives for us to do the project because the cost of this doesn't make sense. I can't underwrite a project that costs too much. I can do it if the government says you're going to restore the building and then provide some capital back and then makes it all worthwhile, which is the same thing that Hotel Florence did, it's the same thing that the Foundry did. So it's an extremely complicated, mind-numbing, you will bang your head against the wall with lawyers and accountants getting this thing funded, which is what we're doing. But once we do that and we close, it'll be about a year construction and then we'll open that hotel. Okay, so conversely, we have the most prototypical standard hotel we're doing in North Augusta right now is a Tru. We all know it. Pretty easy, pretty boilerplate. Brandon, these are probably the most recent pictures, right? Not very exciting. We're just in site work right now, pouring foundations. But the cool thing is it won't take long and that thing will be up and we'll be scrambling to get FF&E in and installed and get ready for opening. So we got a historic adaptive reuse, we got a core branded prototypical, and then I'm gonna show this quick video on Waynesville. Everybody in the room familiar with what we're doing in Waynesville? And this video, you might have seen it, but it's pretty cool. James does a great job with this stuff. James picked the music too. Okay, so you can kind of see the breadth of now, we got Wilson, we got North Augusta, and then you got this behemoth that is hotel, golf. You saw the cottages, right? And then there's some residential that'll come. And we're not pretending to be residential developers, we're not. But that's just a part of what this is. I'll try to make this funny short story. The way we stumbled on this was and it's totally opportunistic, I was at the foundry, and we had an employee who was a golf nut. And so occasionally when I was up there, I'd say, hey, he was our chief engineer. I said, take the afternoon off. I'll take you somewhere. We'll go play golf. And I was going up there on a Friday, and I called him and I said, hey, Jeff, take the afternoon off. We're going to go play golf. He said, well, I already made a tee time at this place in Waynesville. You're not going to like it. It's run down. But if you want to join me there. And I said, sure, I'll do that. It's funny how you think about how simple things happen and then the opportunity they create. So I show up, and the first thing I see is that old building. It's quirky as hell. I mean, it's like you got one thing on the side and this weird tower in the middle that looks like Frank Lloyd Wright-esque, and then and I was like, wow, okay, that's cool. Like, what's going on here? And there wasn't really anybody there. And then we go on the golf course. There was literally no sand in the bunkers. There's like weeds growing up. And Jeff's standing there with a case of beer, and he's like, let's go. And I was like, all right. And I was told, look, if you hit it in the bunker, you get a free drop. Like, I've never been to a golf course where if you hit it in the bunker, you get a free drop. The reason was because there's nothing in the bunker. And I hit it in the bunker a lot that day. Anyway, so I'm probably 4 or 5 holes in, and I call Gray and I go, get your ass up here. Like, I don't know what's going on. We got to look at this amazing piece of property. It's getting run into the ground. This guy wasn't running. He had no business running it anyway, and COVID just sort of was like the nail in the coffin. So that was the beginning of getting into this, which again, I think expands, and we're certainly opportunistic that way, and we have to be. We have to be. I mean, I almost feel like COVID almost created this opportunity for us. This picture is interesting because the guy on the left is Bobby Weed. He's our golf course architect. I think it was 5 degrees that day. Gray took this picture. All I wanted to do was go inside. It was so cold. But I'm listening to Bobby. I don't know, was this like 2-3, this was 2 years ago, something like that. Explaining to me this. He's in his head, he's in a golf course architect, his mind, where it's amazing to listen to him. But this is hole number 13, and the tree work that he was envisioning, the creek and the clear out of all this overgrowth or whatever. And so Gray and I spent a lot of time with him on the vision of that. And you can see now, and this is just half the property. I mean, it's a big, big deal. We've now taken the front. This is going to be the great lawn. It's going to be amazing. Christine, you're not going to have to do your job. This isn't going to sell itself. Pool with a gym on the side. Okay, so I know I'm running out of time. And then all this does is bring us back to, again, getting the theme of our conference, Get to Know Raines, right? And what we do. So I wanted to expand on that a little bit. Again, get more into the weeds with Brandon and Jay at the breakout there, the sales breakouts. But the foundation that I keep going back to in my head, and I'll go back to H.S. Russell, who I mentioned earlier, when he invested in that New Smyrna Beach Hampton with me, and this guy's an investor, right? That's what he does, and he was coming out of the Great Recession, trying to find pennies on the dollar deals, and he was doing like shopping centers and like government leased office buildings, and I said, hey, come invest in this hotel, and he's like, all right, and he liked it, and he did it. And then that next year, I took him to a Hilton conference because I was like, I'll take him. I can't remember. It was some nice location. So let's go to the Hilton conference. He walked out of there, and this is what he said to me. He goes, I'm not investing in retail centers and government buildings anymore. He goes, I love the hotel business. I love the people. I love everything about it. And he has been investing with us since, and I feel the same way. And the foundation is the people and the service. I mean, our industry is better than any of those. And it's just our job now to weather the headwinds, ride the cycles, grow as an organization, and not forget what the foundation is in our business. And so, again, coming out of this meeting, I'd ask, and come up to me, Gray, or whatever, if you have questions about what our organization does, that's what you got to come out of here understanding better, because it's only going to help us grow. It's going to, I think, what I didn't like hearing sometimes was somebody saying, I don't even know what like Grace said, I don't even know what Array is. I mean, that's things are changing for us and moving at a pace where we have to step back sometimes and go, all right, we got to make sure our internal communication is better and that kind of thing. So that's the segue into general session 2. I'm already over, so what are we going to do? We're going to break for...
Yeah, we're going to do a quick 5-minute break, bathroom, snacks, drinks. Come right back. We're going to move, again, every phase of this builds on the next. So we're going to hear from some of our other leaders from the corporate team. And so quick 5-minute break, and then we'll see you right back.
So yeah, we'll say one more thing. I want to thank James, Caitlin, Kristen, Brittany, for... They drove the organization of this, and so make sure you thank them too, because I think the place is pretty nice and the food's been pretty good, and we're gonna have a great rest of the day, and tonight's gonna be fun too. So I want to say thanks y'all for everything you were doing there too. It's been great, and it's going to continue to be. So all right, we'll do a break. Thank you.